afternoon and welcome to SAIT Newsfile. I'm Alex McLeod. Katie Rabagliati will have a look at the highlights later in the show. What can we expect, Katie?
So we're going to be looking at the SAIT Trojans. Well, the men's hockey team, they're doing quite well. So we'll be looking at their success, and also we'll be looking at the NHL, like all the Canadian teams that played yesterday, because both of them had very interesting games.
Awesome, super excited for it. Irene Tagama has been chilling on campus, taking on the weather. What are you looking at, Irene?
Yes, Alex, it's a really cozy weather here right now. Like, I would call this a sweater weather. Like, this is so weird compared to the normal weather that we typically get for February. Last year, we had a -23 weather condition, and I did not see that for today as we had a high of -8. But you know, nothing beats the weather from 1936, which is -37. So I can't really imagine how cold Calgary got during that time, but one thing I can say, let's just make the most out of this weather right now, because chances are we might have another snowfall, which I hope that we don't have. Yeah, so back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Irene. Now here's a look at today's top stories. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is in Ottawa talking healthcare with the Prime Minister. Smith joined the rest of Canada's premiers asking the Trudeau government to boost the money to provinces by a lot. Brett Quinn joins us live from the McDougall Centre downtown. Brett, it looks like the feds are ready to cough up some cash.
That seems to be the plan, Alex, but so far no agreement has been reached. What most people were talking about was the awkward handshake between Smith and Trudeau at the beginning of the sit-down meeting. Smith has accused the Prime Minister of trying to decimate Alberta's oil and gas industry and has also put the idea of some privatization of the healthcare system on the table. For Smith, this meeting with the Prime Minister was an opportunity to focus on energy.
Transforming away from high-intensity emissions to lower emissions. I think we have some shared priorities on that, on LNG export to reduce emissions using the green transfer mechanism to get credit here. That would also help British Columbia.
No word yet from the Prime Minister on anything energy related, but the Trudeau government says he will increase federal healthcare transfers to the province by $196 billion over the next decade. Only about 1/4 of that is new money, but does include a $2 billion top-up to help ease pressure on hospitals. $25 million will come from over 10 years, with the money tailored to the needs of each province or territory. $1.7 billion will go to more money for personal support workers. $150 million over the next 5 years will cover medical travel and delivery of healthcare in remote communities, and $2 million is aimed at addressing the access challenges faced by Indigenous communities. It's a lot for the premiers to consider before signing on to the agreement. Back to you, Alex.
That was Brett Quinn reporting from the McDougall Centre downtown. Thanks, Brett. Election campaigns are heating up in Alberta. With the election under 5 months away, from special interest groups are putting out their requests to whoever forms the next government. The Calgary Chamber of Commerce has released 120 recommendations in 21 areas as they carve out their priorities for the upcoming election. The platform, titled Accelerate Driving Alberta Forward, is being called a business-led, solutions-oriented plan for the economy. The Chamber is requesting $20 million for downtown post-secondary conversions, a rail line that connects the airport with downtown Calgary, as well as waiving provincial property tax for the Culture and Entertainment District for 10 years. The next provincial election is scheduled to be held May 29, 2023. Albertans are raising concerns over diverting non-urgent 911 calls. The calls will be diverted to a HealthLink nurse to free up ambulances. The change was announced by Jason Copping and Alberta Health Services earlier last week. Patients are concerned that they won't get the level of care they need. One Albertan's calls were diverted to 811, where they told her to contact a private medical transport. It is unclear if any changes will be done to the system. A new poll has found that 1/3 of Canadian households say their financial situation has worsened over the last year. Majority of respondents said that their situation is about the same. Many of those lower income brackets are feeling the largest pinch. High inflation and rising interest rates have been the main reason behind these trends. Renters were more than likely than homeowners to report their financial situation has worsened. This is concerning for many Canadians, as many now believe they need $1.7 million in savings to retire. After the event center plans fell through last year, the committee is looking for a fresh start. As DJ Todd reports, early negotiations show signs of a new beginning.
The Event Center Committee met at City Hall Monday, where it held its first meeting of 2023. When the committee last convened, the city announced that they've entered formal negotiations with Calgary Sports and Entertainment Corporation through the CAA Icon Sports Counseling firm. This came after the $1.8 billion Calgary Next redevelopment project with a proposed $890 million arena and a multi-purpose field house was cancelled back in 2017. Councillor Sonia Sharp says the negotiations are moving rapidly, but there's no target location for the project as of yet.
So what we are doing is looking at all possible viable locations that we can build a project that not only hosts sporting events, but also you look at opportunities for arts and culture.
The top contenders for the new event center seems to be the parking lot just north of the Saddle Dome, with the other potential location down in West Village near the old transit station. As for the Dome, it's now been open for 40 years, making the arena the third oldest in the NHL. But for many Calgarians, an event center is not much of a priority right now.
Would be a good thing for the Saddle Dome to be replaced because it is a new arena, but I think there are other issues in the city that I think could be of greater priority.
The Saddle Dome is just the 7th biggest arena of all of Canada, and with a new event space, Calgary could compete with much larger markets.
It could generate a lot of revenue. I think that a lot of people complain about Vancouver and Toronto only having the bigger artists coming to Canada, but if Calgary offered a bigger stadium, I think it would change things.
With the Bank of Canada hiking its key interest rates for the 8th consecutive month to 4.5%, it gives yet another obstacle for the project to think about.
The Calgary police say they have seized 8 firearms in an organized crime investigation. The investigation started late last year when police began targeting an individual. He was believed to be connected to organized crime and drug trafficking in Calgary. Last week, the police conducted a traffic stop and took the suspect into custody. Search warrants were executed on the suspect's vehicles and residences. There were both stolen and modified guns found, including a Glock 31 handgun that had been modified to be fully automatic. The police laid 36 charges against one man following the 2-month-long investigation. He is currently in custody and will appear in court later this month. The town of Cochrane used to be considered a sleepy bedroom community to Calgary, but in the last 2 years, it's been booming. As Keith Driver reports, just this week there's been a big boost from a high-tech company.
Canada first opened in Cochrane in 2018, and now, 2 years later, the company is looking to expand its smart fitness watch facility.
So we're going to be adding 50%, 22,000 square feet onto the building with the expansion, but that will mean that we can virtually double the capacity of our building.
Along with the expansion, the town will be seeing more jobs open up with funding from the provincial government. Cochrane will be improving on its downtown infrastructure, and for local business owners, the growth will bring new clientele.
Most of them, I know them for when I was started in band, like for example in Bevan Canmore. I have lots of people knowing them moving in Cochrane. It's a big help in my business because more people, more business to come.
Since 2016, 6,000 new residents are making Cochrane home. But with this boom, it's only a matter of time before the housing market catches up. While large urban centers like Calgary have had their costs going up, small communities like Cochrane have been reaping the benefits of growth.
Price is fair for right now, but later on, I think that's go higher up. So as buyer, it's the right time to buy a house here at Cochrane.
Single-family homes are definitely cheaper than in Calgary, but will still run you to $500,000, and the market is extremely tight. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Keith Driver.
SAIT was recently named one of the province's top employers. Many employees at the school agree, but also believe more can be done. One of the issues at SAIT is in regards to part-time employment. Many teachers chose the school for the benefits and how the school supports the teachers. While the benefits seem good to full-time employees, part-timers don't get the same deal.
You have to recognize that they don't have access to any of the benefits or any of the flexible time and leave that SAIT mentions and promotes as a good workplace.
SAIT says it's currently looking into what it can do to better support part-time employees, whether it's benefits or community programs. SAIT has been known as a very hands-on school to help stimulate real-world experiences. One of these projects is a business cafe simulation where first-year business students break into groups to build a virtual cafe. As Will Manzik reports, the idea is to simulate what it's like to run a real business.
First-year business students here at SAIT are starting their business cafe project, where they will simulate what it's like to run a business. The school hopes this simulation will better prepare students to be able to make tough choices once they enter industry.
Part of the process that they work through is making business decisions around a number of different business functions, so management, human resources, supply chain, marketing, as well as overall decision making in terms of some of the bigger things that happen within a business.
Students use this website called Biz Cafe, where each week they will set what their finances are going to be. They can also change the business around each week if they find their profits aren't as high as they should be. They have to make all the choices on employee wages, product prices, what brand of coffee they will use, cup style, and how many servers they will have on the floor. The website will then simulate how their business will do over the next week. Also, with every good business comes a logo, which each group is responsible to make.
Not only are teachers happy about this assignment, but students can't wait to start their simulated business to get a feel of what it would be like in the real world.
The School of Business believes this is a good way to help students learn and work on their decision making within a group and help give them a better understanding of what a business platform is truly like. Students have been asked what they are looking forward to most when it comes to participating in the simulation, and most students appear to be excited about the feeling of actually running a business.
Well, I've never owned or ran a business, and so having the Biz Cafe to kind of simulate what it's like running a business, I'm looking forward to.
In the end, the overall feedback from students is very positive.
You know, it's overall really good reviews from our students. They really enjoy having the opportunity to put what they're learning into practice.
For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Will Manzik.
In just a few short days, SAIT will host another open house to recruit students. This is the first year since the pandemic that SAIT has been able to hold in-person open houses. Setting up one of these events is a long process that can take months to complete. SAIT does look for student volunteers to help create a more engaging and interesting open house. Those involved say this is a great way to show students what the campus is really like.
We definitely do. After the last fall open house, we saw over 1,500 applications immediately following open house. So I think for many people, this is a significant commitment and investment, not just of money, but also of your time and your future.
SAIT says it's expecting close to 2,000 people at the event, with hopes of all those students enrolling soon after. Artificial intelligence, it sounds scary to say. AI goes all the way back to the 1950s. Back then, it was nothing like what it is now. In this day and age, the industry is worth close to $93 million. When industries use AI as a tool to help them speed up on tasks or to cut down on their level of employment, it is predicted that AI will take over close to 86 million jobs by 2025. This is a concern to many people because their jobs will be at stake.
Well, with the radio thing, I really want to be a writer, and with this ChatGPT stuff, obviously you can do whatever you want with it. You can be like, give me a 5-minute Seinfeld script. It'll crank it out.
People in the software industry, AI will be used as a tool to benefit them. And those are today's top stories. We'll have your full forecast after the break. But first, Irene Tagama has a look at what's going around Calgary this week.
Want to know how Apple technology came to life? Dive into the world of technology, love, passion, betrayal, and death as Calgary Opera presents the revolution of Steve Jobs at the Jubilee Auditorium. It's going to be a romantic and soulful evening as the Calgary Jazz Orchestra with Strings brings you Art of Romance, Art of Soul. Indulge the music from Temptations to Bruno Mars at the River Park Church. It's never too late to learn a new sport or a new activity as Sport Calgary brings you all sport one city. Check the schedule and the dates at sportcalgary.ca. It's going to be a beautiful night as pals host Bella Notte, a romantic and fun-filled event with food, drinks, entertainment, and more while supporting a good cause. Would you like a cup of tea and an awesome time with your friends? Head on to the south as the Heritage Park hosts its tea party. Bring your fancy pants on for Valentine's Day.
Did you know that having your pet neutered can increase their lifespan? While pets that are not neutered are at a high risk of infection and disease. When adopting a pet, the Rescue Friends Animal Foundation pets available for adoptions are already neutered. Adopt your own neutered pet at Rescued Friends.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is Broadcast News. Come and dare to be on air.
Hello and welcome back. You know what? I really feel like I really need to have some tea right now. But you know what? Let's check the weather from the west side of the country first. In Vancouver, you have a rainfall warning a while ago, but now it's ended in noon, but still you're still in a rainy season. And so you gotta get your umbrellas out and in the open as well. Whereas with the prairies, you guys are doing so fine with 6 in Edmonton, 2 in Regina, and -1 in Winnipeg. So we're gonna deal with a high pressure system, which means that we're not gonna deal with huge changes such as snow and precipitation. Now let's check on the east side of the country. Toronto and Montreal are in a heavy rainy season right now, surprisingly, compared to Halifax and St. John's. In Toronto, you may have a rainy weather right now with a chance of flurries as well. But in Montreal, we're going to have a weather statement warning, which means that you are going to deal with heavy precipitation as well. Now let's check on the resorts on where we'd rather be. Palm Springs will be clear in the afternoon with 23 degrees. Barbados and Honolulu may have high temperatures, but Barbados might be facing some thunderstorms and Cancun might deal with some showers in the afternoon. Orlando sits at 28 degrees and sunny, and Las Vegas is sunny with 16 degrees. For today in Calgary, we're at high with 8 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. We're receiving the weather fronts, warm fronts from the southwest with 43 kilometers per hour. And what's next for tonight and tomorrow will be cloudy. Now let's check on the weather in our province right now. As you can see, we're dealing with positive temperatures here today. I mean, look at Medicine Hat, it's at +10 degrees. However, you're dealing with temperature with flurries as well, with 30% chance, as well as Banff with 60% chances of flurries as well. And overall, it's a fairly weather condition, which means that we're not dealing with so many changes right now until next week. But overall, it's a very stable weather, and we still have time to get out and have some fun. And now, let's check on the weather in Calgary for the 5 days. Now, for tonight, it'll be a low of 0 degrees, with cloudy as well, with high of 2 degrees. However, from Thursday onwards, with high of 6 with a low of -1. And after the break, we'll be right back with Katie Rebagliati in sports.
What do you think of when you hear the word home? A place to rest, a place to play, a place for friends and family to gather. There are people in the city who unfortunately don't have that. They only have a house. WINS wants to change that. Donate household items to the House to Home program and help make a house a home again. It's only when you have homes that you have a community.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. Katie Rebagliati joins us now for a look at the latest highlights. What are we looking at today?
So we're going to be looking at the NHL. The 2 Canadian teams that played had very interesting games going on, and also I know a pretty excited weekend's coming up for sports lovers. But first, we're just going to take a look at our very own SAIT Trojans.
Excited to hear.
The SAIT Trojans men's hockey team has been having a pretty good season as they're second place in the ACAC. Despite their hot weekend with their home-and-home split against the Concordia Thunder, they're still remaining in second place just behind the Red Deer Canes. The first game of the split was at the Trojans' temporary home at the Winsport Arena. It was a good game for everyone's favorite rookie, Brandon Machado, with his last 2 goals in the game being power play goals. He wasn't the only player that shined on the ice. Carson Welke scored his first goal while being unassisted, and his second goal he got while he was shorthanded. For the Thunder, they started off strong, but they just couldn't keep up to the Trojans. In the second day, the Trojans went to the Thunder's home rink. It was another great game for the Trojans, as Carson Welke had another good game where he scored 2 goals for the Trojans. The men's hockey team will be on the ice once again on Friday and Saturday for a home-and-home split against the UAA. The Calgary Flames took on the New York Rangers last night at the Rangers' home rink, and the Flames didn't end up looking too hot at the end of the game. Starting the first period, the Rangers scored the first goal, but it didn't take too long for the Flames to catch up. When the period ended in a tie, a not-so-friendly altercation took place. Now getting into the second period, the Wranglers scored quickly. But then after the Wranglers scored, Tyler Toffoli snapped back quick and showed them who's boss. After the action, the period ended in a goal from the Rangers. And the game ended up being tight. The Flames scored 2 goals and the Wranglers got 1, which made the game slide into overtime where the Wranglers scored the winning goal. The Wranglers have the left wing man to thank for giving them the winning goal. The Flames will be hitting the ice once again as they're facing the Detroit Red Wings on this coming Thursday, at the Red Wings home rink. There was more than just one tight game in the NHL last night. The Vancouver Canucks took on the New Jersey Devils at the Devils home rink. Picking things up in the first period, the Canucks scored not too far into the game, and the Devils didn't catch up till the end of the first period, where Jack Hughes scored for the Devils. In the second, the Devils' Andre Palat scored twice in under a minute, making this his 5th and 6th goal of the season. After they got a score from Hughes, the Canucks' Luke Shine and Curtis Laser scored, making the score 4-3 and at the bottom of the second. In the third, the Canucks scored, making the game go into overtime, and the Devils used their one-man advantage against the Canucks to score the game-winning goal. The Devils won 5-4, with the Devils winning in the overtime. The Canucks will be taking on the New York Rangers at the Rangers' home arena, and the puck will drop at 5 tomorrow night. The Calgary Hitmen will be taking on the Winnipeg Ice in a home-and-home split starting tomorrow night. The Hitmen will be starting the home-and-home split by traveling to Winnipeg, and the puck will drop just at 7. The Hitmen are hoping to get back and win. The loss of the Hitmen's game did not look so good for them, as they lost to the Moose Jaw Warriors, and the Hitmen did see some good efforts from number 8, Gary Stipman. The Wild and the Coyotes sound like they should go together, and they were sharing their grounds last night. The Minnesota Wild went head-to-head against the Arizona Coyotes. It was a slow first period with no goals, but once they got around to the second period, both teams had 1 goal. In the third period, things started to pick up from a goal from the Wild, but the Coyotes followed by 2 and to lead their pack to victory. The Utah Jazz shared their home court with the Dallas Mavericks last night. Kicking things off in the second quarter, things have been pretty tight so far in the game, and the Jazz came and slammed one in, putting them in the lead. But the Mavericks took hold of the reins and all went to the last quarter, and things started to look different. The game ended in a victory for the Mavericks, making this their 29th win in the season. Josh Green helped lead the team to victory by helping the rookie Jaden Hardy, who scored, but he's just a benchman. But he didn't let that hold him back from helping his team. The Mavericks are now the 5th in the Western Conference, and the Jazz is 10th in the conference. The Jazz will be taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow night, and the Mavericks will be taking on the Los Angeles Clippers tomorrow night. Speaking of the Los Angeles teams, another Los Angeles teams, the Los Angeles Lakers superstar LeBron James is closing in on all-time points, and now he's only 61 points away from beating this record. After a long-awaited sports season, the 57th Super Bowl is coming up. The biggest sports weekend is only 5 days away. The Kansas City Chiefs will be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday. The game will be played at the stadium at Glendale, Arizona, with the game starting at 4:30. I know those are your sports highlights.
Wow, that's super interesting. I know I'm definitely looking forward to the game and everything, the Super Bowl and stuff.
I know, and Rihanna's gonna be there.
The only reason I want to watch.
It's gonna be a good one.
And speaking of music, after the break, we'll have a look at the local record store and how they're surviving through after the pandemic.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry-standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is Broadcast News. Come and dare to be on air.
Online shopping is becoming a more common way to purchase items. A single tap can download an album directly to your phone. With more businesses turning to digital, how are record stores coping? Seamus McElliott reports from a local record store.
The humble record store has been a staple in malls across the country for about as long as malls have been open. However, the record store today has had to make many changes to stay relevant. How has the record store persevered where so many others have failed?
Record stores themselves have survived because of the records themselves. In the past 2 years, vinyl itself has made a comeback out of nowhere where people aren't buying CDs anymore and buying vinyl, and the physical format of vinyl is what's keeping the stores afloat.
Well, I see changes almost like kind of weekly in here, just like depending on certain culture changes or kind of what's popular and what's not and stuff like that. So I see changes through here all the time, just depending on what people are into. And
some may believe that record collecting is a niche market aimed solely at baby boomers and Gen Xers, but appealing to the younger crowd is vitally important for the record store's survival.
But a portion of our vinyl shoppers are kids, children, youth who never grew up with it being a household item. So I think it's because you have this whole new generation where it's new, it's something they've never seen or experienced, they're excited for it.
I come here because I want to expand it. Like I have records, I got a lot of them, but there's always room for more, so I want to expand my catalog.
Even with more and more people getting their music through digital avenues, there is hope for the future of the record store.
I see vinyl continuing to be huge, that in-level vinyl selection will continue to grow, and that it's staying around. It's not going to go away overnight.
For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Seamus McElliott.
Wow, that's awesome. I know I definitely love browsing the record store and everything. Irene, is the weather looking good this weekend or this week to go out?
It's definitely a record-breaking day from tomorrow because you can break out the fun by going outside, and especially from Thursday to Saturday, it'll be a good day for a good weekend getaway.
Awesome, excited for it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again on Thursday.